Silence speaks volumes, at least it does for the true heroes of many of the stories we love, the silent protagonist. These are characters that no matter given the situation, they refrain from uttering a word. Whether because of design limitations, narrative decisions, or the fact that some characters are just mute, silent protagonists are a staple in the games we love. That's why for this episode of Leaderboard, we want to take a look at the top 10 silent protagonists in games. Sitting at number 10, we have Red from the Pokemon franchise. A young boy from Pallet Town who set out to become a Pokemon master, Red served as the quintessential avatar and silent protagonist for many. Not only does Red eventually collect all 8 gym badges, but he also helps rid the Kanto region of Team Rocket's nefarious efforts, becomes the Pokemon champion by following Victory Road and defeating both the Elite Four and his longtime rival Blue, and manages all that before he even turns 12. What makes Red's arc even more incredible is the fact that after completing the Johto and Kanto regions in Pokemon Gold, the player has to fight one last opponent, who is none other than a superpowered rendition of Red himself, his team full of iconic heavy hitters. For all these reasons and more, Red will hold a special place in many of our hearts forever. Sitting at number 9, we have the new kid from South Park, the Stick of Truth. The new kid may actually be the most tragic silent protagonist. Not only does he have to just deal with Cartman, South Park's bite-sized domestic terrorist, but he's subjected to everything this game has to throw at him, and boy is that a lot. After fighting the homeless, oversized rats, Al Gore, Nazi zombies, and more, you sort of just hope that one day he'll know some peace, or at least a day where he's not beset by Cartman calling him a douchebag. At number 8, we have Claude from Grand Theft Auto 3. Grand Theft Auto 3's protagonist is the only one in the 3D iterations of the series that doesn't utter a single word. Claude is a character involved in the criminal underworld of Liberty City, and his silence speaks volumes as even when face to face against mob bosses and drug dealers, his stoic presence persists. Claude is special because he came to fruition at a time when voice acting was beginning to find footing. The early PlayStation 2 era was seeing more and more games be voiced, and while many of the side characters in Grand Theft Auto 3 are fairly talkative, Claude's silence was present in a very noticeable way. However, his silence made him more lovable than not. Sitting at number 7, we have the Human from Undertale. After falling into the underground at the start of the game, the striped shirt-wearing and flat-faced human child of Undertale finds themselves facing some of the toughest decisions one could imagine, and their actions have immense consequences in the world of monsters. While they don't understand this from the start, with a little determination, Undertale's protagonist realizes they possess the ability to either save or destroy the world. We never hear them speak, but their relationship and encounters with the many wonderful monsters of the underground not only leaves a lasting impression, but makes for a protagonist who has the potential to go down as one of the most relatable characters in video games. Coming in at number 6, we have Yu from Persona 4. First and foremost, bravo to the person who decided to name the blank slate protagonist of Persona 4 Yu. While Yu may be a common enough Japanese name, it's also astonishingly clever for an English audience playing an avatar. Yu is the most plagued teenager, having to deal with moving to the countryside, making new friends, navigating a new school, literally fist fighting his demons, and then assuming control of those demons to fight his friends' demons so that he can put together a makeshift Scooby-Doo gang to solve murders going on in his new home. Now Yu, by the nature of the JRPG he exists in, does technically say some words which you can select, but he also never actually says them while this is all happening. More often than not, Yu is comfortable being the least outspoken member of the band, his cool, quiet demeanor actually making him popular as people flock to him for aid, a guiding hand, comfort, and in some cases, romance. Coming in at number 5, we have Doom Guy from the Doom franchise. We've followed Doom Guy's horrific battles through several adventures that started as far back as 1993 with the original release of Doom. Here's a guy that's literally been to hell and back without a word. Doom Guy seems to communicate, however, through splatters of blood and visceral dismemberment, and from our perspective, he communicates really well. At number 4, we have Jack from BioShock. After crash landing in the middle of the North Atlantic Ocean, Jack finds himself in the ruins of an underwater and overtly capitalist society known as Rapture. In his attempts to survive that give way to accidental discovery, BioShock's protagonist finds himself facing a menagerie of horrors throughout the submerged metropolis, such as the series' infamous Big Daddies, Little Sisters, and Splicers. While Jack continually thwarts the plans of some very powerful and corrupt leaders of Rapture, he soon finds that his destiny is intertwined with the city itself, and this very revelation is what makes Jack one of the standout silent protagonists of all time. At number 3, we have Wander from Shadow of the Colossus. In Shadow of the Colossus, Wander is engaged in an epic journey to revive the young lady, Mono. Standing in his way, however, are 16 towering colossi, most of which are easily 10 times his size or more. How anyone could look up at these humongous hulks without so much as a holy crap, I'll never know, but Wander leaps into action without hesitation and without uttering a word. Wander does, however, paint a great story through muted emotion, both through his stoic persistence in his journey to save Mono and his unspoken bond with his horse Agro. Through it all, Wander's silence serves to strengthen the sense of isolation and desperation that the game never feels the need to speak to. At number 2, we have Shell from the Portal franchise. There are few relationships in games as interesting and dynamic as Shell's relationship with GLaDOS. This is even more impressive because one of those characters doesn't utter a single word. The dynamic between GLaDOS and Shell highlights a lot of why the Portal series displays some of the best writing video games have to offer, as the villain's constant quips, eventually turned to insults and berating, are constantly hurled at the player in spectacular form. The first Portal game saw the proof of concept as Shell truly embodied the idea of an avatar and the player fulfilled their role through her. However, it was Portal 2 that truly fleshed out the character of Shell, with players going as far as connecting dots and theorizing her potential backstory. Shell's silence most of all uplifted GLaDOS as a spectacular villain and gave that character a room to shine along with Wheatley in Portal 2, which is why this character's silence is near perfect. Before we get to number 1, here are some honorable mentions. At number 1, we have Link from the Legend of Zelda franchise. Link has been on constant adventures and has somehow managed to stay silent through all of them. Even so, the character continues to remain charming in every one of his iterations. Personality traits are a difficult thing to convey without the use of dialogue, and somehow, I can tell you everything we love about Link. He's confident, heroic, not overly serious, and determined to do the right thing in every situation. So much of Link's personality comes from not only his physical expressions, but his acts of kindness and moments of humanity. He somehow manages to fulfill both the role of being a player avatar that we all can project ourselves onto and his very own character with traits specific to him. Link's Master Sword, Hylian Shield, Green Tunic, bow and arrows, and other iconic qualities cement him as a memorable figure in video games, and he was able to reach this status without saying a word. So there you have it, the top 10 silent protagonists. What characters do you feel like deserve a spot on this list? Leave a comment letting us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with the madness here at OK Beast. We also have the Leaderboard podcast where we actually argue and decide these rankings on these lists. It is available on iTunes and on OKBeast.com. Until next time, make sure you guys stay tuned to OK Beast.